My name is IBM with Goldbridge Software. We are a training and consulting company. Pretty much work with just about all the Tivoli products, even Tivoli Storage Management. One of our stars at least. What I'm going to talk about today is integrating Impact and ITM using web services. It's going to be very fast because I only have 20 minutes. And some of this can probably go into a lot more detail. If you have any more detailed technical questions, just come by our booth and I can show you everything. All right, so I hate the agenda slide, but everybody wants them, so here it is, the agenda. We're going to talk about why you'd want to integrate ITM and Impact. Very brief overview, one slide overview of the Impact Web Services DSA, Data Sources Network. Some challenges involved in integrating Tivoli Netcool Impact and ITM. I'm sure you guys all have ITM and would be here. Have you done much of the SOAP interface? Not at all? Okay. And then I'm going to talk about the Goldbridge solution package that we put together that simplifies working with Impact and making SOAP calls to ITM. All right. Why would you want to do some web services integration? Well, maybe you need some additional information to do bank correlation. When it comes in from ITM or from some other source, Impact reads that event, and okay, I need to go get another attribute group from ITM in order to correlate what's really going on. You can use web services to do that. Say you want to move some data that can't be warehoused from ITM to some database. You could use a so-called to get the data, and then write it in using a data type. Pretty straightforward with Impact. Perhaps you'd want to have programmatic control over situations and policies. Implement a maintenance mode solution. Implement some kind of sophisticated monitoring that you can't normally do using an ITM workflow policy. With SOAP, you can start and stop situations, start and stop workflow policies, manage MSLs to take systems in and out of MSLs. It's all possible with SOAP. You could also use the underlying Impact and web services to create TBSM scorecards to display near real-time data in the TBSM scorecard. There is an Opal solution that uses queries against the TEPS database to populate scorecards. That may actually be better than using SOAP, depending on what your needs are. All right. Right now, the only thing that's supported for this solution is Impact 4 and TBSM 4. The Impact 5 Web Services DSA, they changed something underneath of it that doesn't work on it. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I may soon, not sure. But anyway, the Impact 4 Web Services DSA. Data source adapter allows Impact to send and receive SOAP messages. Your messages are defined in WSDL files, web service description language files, and then your WSDL file, when you want to use it from Impact, you compile it using the NCI compile WSDL command. And essentially what this does is it generates Java classes that are then bundled into the Impact application. The basic web services functions that are available, set default package, new object, new array, and WS invoke. WS invoke is the workhorse. It's what actually makes the SOAP method. Let's see. The challenges with integrating ITM and Impact. The supplied WSDL file, kshwct.wsdl, does not compile in the Impact environment or any environment I've ever tried. Anybody tried to compile it, use web services with it? It doesn't work well. The ITM SOAP implementation appears broken. It doesn't handle namespaces correctly. Expects a CT method name as a bare attribute, nothing at all. You can't, no namespace, you can't use NS0 or whatever, or XMLNS to set the namespace. It returns an invalid CT method fault. So basically about a lot of trial and error, I came up with a working WSDL file that works, but it's not necessarily valid WSDL. You have to set the default namespace to nothing using XMLNS equals blank with quotes. And then in the schema, in the WSDL file schema where you define your CT methods, you have to set the target namespace attribute to blank as well. If you want to see the actual WSDL file, just come down to the booth, I'll show you. Also, you have to use the document literal SOAP binding in the WSDL file. Now, our solution simplifies Impact and web service integration by providing a working WSDL file, an impact policy language function library that gives you access to most of the ITM CT methods. What it doesn't do is do the situation status synchronization. For example, if you acknowledge event in Omnibus, it acknowledges an ITM. There's existing products that do that. The ITM event sync comes on the 621 tool CD, works just fine, and you probably don't want to be manipulating events in Impact in that manner anyway. You want to let the other tools do that. Also provided is an ITM ATR to WSDL.pl script that you can use to generate an attribute group specific WSDL file. The only advantage to doing this is you don't have to convert the values from strings to numbers, because with this implementation, all the values are strings. You have to convert them to a float and or whatever to do numeric comparisons. As I mentioned, the platforms that it works on are Impact 4 and TBSM 4X. And if you want a copy, send an email to our sales guy. He'll get it to you. All right, so what this impact policy language provides is a set of SOAP functions. Get does your basic CT get, start situation, stop situation, start and stop policy. Execute executes another SOAP call. It's like the CT execute method. I'll briefly go over this again. Universal message, send a universal message console. SQL will execute freeform EID SQL against the TIMs. And then a remote command will execute a remote command on an ITM agent. Also provided two time functions. ITM timestamp will take the current time and convert it to an ITM formatted time. So you can create A filters in your policies. And ITM timestamp to date converts an ITM timestamp to an impact date. The return value is essentially from all these functions, except for the SOAP function return values. It's an impact policy language array of objects. Now each object is a row that came back from the SOAP call. And every property of that object is an ITM attribute group attribute. And, here's an example of what it would look like. Return value, subscript, attribute name, and then if you reference that, that'd be the actual value for the server name for that particular row. Here's the CT get method. The get function implements the CT get method. The arguments are your endpoint. This is your SOAP URL. User ID, password, object. This is going to be ITM attribute group name, for example, NT system, Linux disk, NT logical disk, those sorts of things. The target, ITM managed system name. This is going to be optional. Use null for none. Hub, another one, it's optional, use null for none. History is just a Boolean flag, true or false, whether or not you want to include historical data in the results that come back. Attributes, array of attributes for queries. Say you only want the server name and the free megabytes. You would build an array for that and pass that along. A filters, this is where you would filter your results that come back. It's just like the normal CT get method. The filters are ANDed together. Here's an example where we're going to grab where server name equals primary server :NT. Basic example of using a filter. Again, use null if you don't want to pass any values to that. Here's an example of what an impact policy would look like that uses this. Basic user ID, sysadmin, password, the object we're going to grab, where we're going to grab it from. We don't care about the RTAMs. We don't care about history. Our SOAP URL, we're only grabbing the total instead of like each disk. And these are the attributes we want to pull back: timestamp, server name, disk name, 3 megabytes. And then this is where we actually invoke the SOAP call. This is our function library, GBSD ITM Web Services. It gets the function, pass those arguments along. And here's how we process the results. Just set up a basic while loop. Figure how long the result array is and then loop through it. Here I'm using the ITM timestamp to date to convert the results back to that's a typo, I should do that, sorry. Convert that back to a impact date. And then I'm going to log the results out. Here's what it looks like. So we got our timestamp in impact date format. Our server name, disk, 3 megabytes, and that's the end of the. Any questions about that so far?
All right, the starting